Masky Dog with the 18-month tier 1 sub. Yippee twice Twitch baby.
Hello! Hello!
Okay. I have my water with me. I'm probably gonna drink a lot of that because I had popcorn as my breakfast instead of, like, you know, bacon or pancakes or anything like that, because popcorn is all I had. Alright. So that's being posted. Looks like a few people are happy. Who the fuck is Plasma Designs? Oh, it's one of those kinds of accounts. Look, I respect the hustle. Anyone that's trying to do a hustle, I respect it, because quite frankly, you never know if someone is on a, you know, good day and wants to, you know, everyone wants to do the, get paid and what have you, but that's not, I'm not the target audience. Also, why in the world is my, hang on, I need to fix this. There we go. And then I need to turn this off. There we go. Sometimes the commands don't do. Good morning, it is the evening for me, or proper food. No, I don't have proper food. I don't have proper anything right now. If you have not, did you even send a schedule? No, I did not, because Furry Cures, guess, also, hi there, Frag, welcome to the stream. Because, for any of you who aren't on, like, the Twitters or what have you, so yeah, I didn't do, like, a full week schedule, because, Sunday morning, technically it started back on Saturday evening during the MMO night, DirectX crashed, like, 1 or 2 times on my PC. And then on the third crash, it stopped the entire display, like all of my displays, like switched off. I could still hear people and I could do some interactions, but I could not communicate with, I couldn't visualize anything. And so Sunday rolls around and I get the same sort of crashes and like one of them having the visuals like off and everything like that. So what I decided to do is I turned off the PC, I got a can of compressed air. So one of these babies. Oh, the hose just went off it and it just shot out. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, so I got myself some compressed air, or like blew it at like, you know, the GP, because I saw it was like a little bit dusty, because it's hot in Australia. I have the case open. I don't have the glass on it or anything like that because like previously I did some tweaking with it and I kept it open just because it's like, oh, it gets more air and yada yada, but it means it gets dustier quicker. Yeah, I turn it on and smoke starts coming out of the GPU and I was just like, that's not good. And it was like that smelly smoke as well, like that, like when a resistor gets burnt out and shit. So I turned off the PC and yeah, I had no GPU. And because of AMD CPUs having no built-in graphics card, the magic smoke, yes, Morse, the magic smoke. Because there's no internal like discrete graphics within AMD processors, the PC was basically unusable. And like it was Sunday as well. None of the customer support for Gigabyte was online for me to be able to be like, hey, I want to get started on the RMA process. I have to send in a ticket into a robot, and the robot is like, oh, can you please tell me what your BIOS version is for the graphics unit and the driver? And I'm like, I can't tell you these things because the thing is burnt out. I am not gonna like, try and turn it on and send it to BIOS. Because of all that smoke and shit. So yeah, so I was shit out of luck, and I like whether or not this was like an important thing to do. Hi there, Atomica. Whether it was a compulsion or it was like very important like for because I have like another week off. I started looking on the Facebook Marketplace for a new graphics card. I did because the 3090 in Australia it was like $4,000. It is a fucking it's a workhorse of a GPU. It is not cheap. And most of the 3000 series, like they're only going to get cheaper just a little bit with the release of the 4000 series and the fact that scalpers and miners are like sort of like, "Oh, we can't use these things anymore." I didn't have a lot of money on me. I basically went into my savings at this point. Thank you, Atomica. Work Zebra. Yeah, so yeah, I basically am now like once again paycheck to paycheck because of this fucking break, and I'm hearing and as I'm googling on Reddit of like, oh, how do I get the RMA process? Like, because I know I have to submit something to Gigabyte, and they're gonna give me a receipt and some shit. So then that way I include that with like the mailing and shit to get the RMA process, and it's not helpful that. As I'm going through the RMA, like researching this online, I'm getting people's like horror stories of like, oh, I'm trying to submit something into Gigabyte and they say they won't cover the RMA or they won't accept the warranty because of, and they'll do like a screenshot and it's like because of this part saying that there's no way this would have been damaged from normal use. And it's like, like some weird like little bit that's like, a little bit warped or anything like that. So, and there's like this tiny black thing. Like it looked like it would hold something because it's like perfectly like smooth on one side, but then it's chipped on the other. Like this fell out of my fell out of my GPU, and I'm very much worried that I'm gonna send this GPU in. Gigabyte is gonna do like their Sherlock Holmesiness on the GPU, find something wrong, and decide that the thing that was wrong with it is just in no shape and form like their fault or anything like that, and decide to be like, hi, thank you for the GPU. Unfortunately, we're not gonna, accept the warranty because of this damage that we see as not, within the parameters of regular use, which would be really painful. $4,000 is not something I have on hand. I can't get 3090s anymore. They're no longer available, and any of them that are secondhand are very much still at like, open price and shit because they don't manufacture the 3000 series as far as I know. They've just all jump ship to the 4000. Cookie for Frag, here's your cookie. So right now, I'm working off of, I'm paycheck to paycheck. I have no money until I get paid. I right now have a 3060 Ti. I'm keeping like the task manager over on the side to keep an eye on it, so then that way I don't burn this one out from usage or anything like that. And I did all this, so then that way... You missed me? Aw, thank you. All of this, so that I would not break my plan or promise in my plan or promise in playing Thunder with a friend of mine. I've played War Thunder with them off stream before just to get a feels for it, but I didn't want to cancel on them on this one. I was really I don't want to like disappoint people when I make plans and what have you. 3060s are pretty solid at least. This one is secondhand, and it smelled really strongly of alcoholic wipes, and it came in the box that did not have the matching, the serial number on the box did not match the serial number on the 3060 Ti. I can't use any of the HDMI ports for whatever reason. And it's a secondhand. I have a feeling that this one is there a key? Is that a Keyblade I see over there? Yeah, there's a Keyblade over there. All right, I'm gonna bring in today's guest. Okay, hang on a second. All right, I brought in today's guest. If you can't, they're down there. It's unnamed.
Hi. Hello.
Hi. Your Discord Fugi thingy-majiggy has it where your inactive thing is just like, you know, your hyena with the titties, like going, yes. Yes, and then when you speak, it turns into Round Boy.
Me round orb.
Round orb. Yeen. Yes. So if you do not know who this is unnamed. Hang on a second. I need to. Oh, you're not in my chat, so I have to like. I don't know your.
Type something real quick.
Yep, that'll help.
There we go.
There we go. All right, so now I can just go for your thing because you have the numbers at the end and everything. This is unnamed. They are. I first knew of them as a. Stop looking at my ass, Incineroar. Get back to me. Back to me. There we go. I first knew of them as a 3D titty artist. You notice with the big titties, and they're all titty is good titty. I'm wearing your shirt, by the by, as
I see that.
So yeah. So I first knew them as a 3D. I think the term is a 3DX artist. God damn it, Incineroar. And then I learned that they started streaming on Twitch, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, this should be good. And you started as like a you went the PNG route. You then went through. Everyone just hitting all the redeems, just being like, oh, we don't give a shit what this zebra says about the cool people. We want titties. We want bold.
Unnamed. I don't care about that. I'm here for the muscles.
Muscles.
For them juicy Grant titty.
Yeah. So yeah. So
zebra cake.
Zebra cake. So yeah, they're. So would we be friends?
I consider it.
Okay. Yay. We can be friends. So yeah, so friends. So yeah, so they did the Twitch thing. They started as a PNG. They got a 3D model of a hyena. Sorry, like my screens are in a completely different position. I shouldn't have moved this all the way up here. I should have moved it here instead, like classically. Close that tab. Ding. Over to the play channel. There we go. Unname's a little hard to hear. Alrighty then. Let me fix that. Let me see. User volume, 100%. I'm just gonna put you to 200%. You wanna say a few things?
We just start porking. Pork.
Bork. Bork.
Pork.
Bork. More borks. Nice tits there.
Bork.
Thank you, Giga. You have nice tits too. So yeah, I recognize some of these names from your channel. Giga, Frack, Red Loop. So you brought your whole posse in for today's stream of War Thunder because you're like everyone jokes about me being like, oh, you're a Final Fantasy streamer because it's like only the most consistent thing I've been playing the last 2-3 years. But you, I want to say you're a War Thunder streamer. That's your most consistent thing.
Yes. Let me just out myself on Steam. Let me see. Look here and just look. I have 938.5 hours in War Thunder. I've been playing since 2013.
So not 1,000. You gotta. Those are Riku
Not
numbers.
1,000.
You gotta get those up.
Exactly. I'm not there yet. I'm not obsessed yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have not done that many hours in it. I have done a total of 14.8 hours, and in the last 2 weeks, I've done 10. I do like before we played together, I had like maybe 4 hours on my thing, and that was like since
I was in that chat the first time you played it. The first time you played it, I was like, oh, I've been following you for like a while, mostly because I'm like, oh, look, zebra cake. Yes, I'm gonna watch this.
Yep.
And when you played it the first time, I was just like, hey, he hates it.
I was just like, it's so slow and methodical. Because, like, my friend, the Quaggles, the old housemate, they played ground realistic. So, yeah. But, yeah. Also, chat, I learned there's a tank called Grant. We are going to be using this tank at some point.
The best part, it's premium, and you immediately saw it and went, I'm buying this.
It was on discount, okay? Also, I need to use a thing. Aw, damn it, the thing expired. I had like a thingy that was gonna expire in like...
Oh, the boosters.
Yeah, because there's like these 10% ones that go off for like, you know, a day, and then there's these ones where it's like 150% for just the mission.
Have you been buying the backups and the stuff in the... Whoa, what is it?
When one the total effect is less than the sum of all boosters.
Yeah, the Warbond shop in the top right has a whole bunch of stuff you can buy. Oh yeah, there's diminishing return if you stack them.
Ah, okay. So wait, so I gotta go to War Bonds? What?
Yeah, so go to the top right and then to the Warbond shop, which you don't see. Ooh, strange. I don't know why you don't see it.
Actually, one of the things I will do is let's see if this can handle it. I am going to stream 1080p 15 frames a second to the Discord, so you get to see it like quote unquote live.
Oh no, this might hurt it. Let's try it. Let's try it.
Let's try it. So yeah, where's my... Right now, the GPU is like 69% of the 3D, and then video encoding is like 40%, but I have the video encoding done on the CPU most recently. All right.
It is screaming. I can hear it from here. I can hear it all the way in the States.
Yeah. So yeah, right now it's running at a cool 80 degrees Celsius right now. All right, so I see item shop, online, inventory.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a Warbond shop, but I don't even see that for you. What is it?
Is that because of a premium thing?
I don't think so. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, I've not gone too far into the ranks.
Oh, you don't even have premium right now. Oh no.
Oh no. Well, I'm not gonna get premium. Do we want to? All right, so we're gonna try like a 1.7 because that's where I've been sitting at for a whiles.
I'm all set for that.
Alrighty then.
Ready up. All squad arms are ready. I am totes ready.
Oh, I need to hit cancel and then too. I thought it would automatically change.
No, it does not. It's got that scuffiness to it.
Engel says, maybe a little bit higher, still a bit soft. Maybe I'm just a loud person, and by comparison, you're just... Because you are soft in my ears, but I feel like that's just a, you know, automagic thing for...
I'll get louder. I'll start screaming in a bit. I can do that.
Just have the microphone gain a little bit higher.
Let me do that. How's that? Better? Better yet?
That's.
Better yet?
I think that's the same. Maybe Discord just has a natural limit.
Screaming is the dumbest.
Screaming is the... Oh, I'm getting... Oh, god damn it.
Amazing.
Ha. Oh my... How did we get... Okay.
Leave him alone.
Alrighty. So what's the strat on...
Let's go chill at... let's go to B. I think it's close enough.
B...
Oh man, I don't want to go up there. Let's go this way.
Oh. Okay. Oh, yeah, I can't get... God damn it.
Yeah, there's no way to climb that.
Oh,
They have a huge nerf on climbing ability of tanks.
even on arcade where I can go a ripping
Yep.
40 kilometers an hour.
They don't want some billy goats playing this game and going off into the distance and just hanging out on a mountain and just sniping people from far.
Yeah, but
Even though that still does happen.
Alrighty then. Oh my gosh, it's... So wait, 2013 you said you first started playing this, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Has this experience changed? Like, not the battle rating kind of experience, but like just the overall experience change from 2013 versus now?
Oh yeah. No, they used to not have the battle rating. They used to be obsessed with this being more on the historical side of things, where you can only play against vehicles that you would normally fight against in certain years of like World War II, because they were originally like, we're only doing World War II tanks. And then eventually they were just like, yeah, no, we can get more money if we bring everything else in.
Yep, okay. Alright, I'm gonna take the stairs on the right, so then that way I can try and flank them. Or you just take care of them. It's okay.
Yeah.
Alright. There's an M3 over there. Oop.
There's a few up here that are hanging out.
Yeah, target destroyed. Oh, looks like someone's doing like pot shots over there.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Critical hit.
See from here.
I'm not gonna get a good shot. There we go. God, I love this tank. I've been getting so many kills with it.
I like how like when you got that gun, it's like don't use that weapon.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah.
My friend, no.
Oh no. Yeah. But yeah, it's still good. Meanwhile, like the M22 apparently is like the meme one of like, oh yeah, you play this even at like out of ranked nonsense as a backup.
Oh yeah.
It just goes too fast. Like, oh, let's see how it goes. Like if I hit 60 kilometers an hour on this thing. This is nippy. It's like if a Toyota Yaris had an anti-material round.
It's just absolutely crazy.
Hmm. Yeah. Man. But imagine if Toyota made tanks.
I mean,
They'd be the
they got the market cornered on machine guns on the back of their trucks.
Yeah, that's okay, fair enough. Like that's the Toyota Hilux, but I feel like Top Gear kind of advertised it strongly to them because of the whole like, oh yeah, we'll just drop a building and they're still good with no spare parts.
Oh, I missed. I made a bad move. Okay.
Oh. Oh Jesus. Ah!
Oh no.
Hey, target destroyed by exploding the fuel. I did exactly as they want with the okay, let's see. Can I
Over by it, will rush over to you.
Uh-oh. I need to put out the fire, but this T-28 right here is probably gonna kill me.
There's someone in our squad.
Oh. Nah. Oh god, he finally got rid of the bush. But yeah, like that's what's Mahoozies? That's War Thunder. Alrighty.
Spawn in, click, kill, die, come back again.
Alrighty then. I'm gonna use this MA. This like snub-nosed like behemoth.
That one, the heat gun, is actually better than the penetrating one.
Are you what?
Because there was a lot of TNT in it. Oh my god, just kill me again.
The Jack of the Cock. Oh, Jacob the Cook. Can't read shit.
Oh no.
Got him.
You got something on your mind? Oh, you got something on your mind?
Target destroyed. Barely aiming. Yay. I am absolutely fanging it to A right now. Here we go.
I've
Here we
lost all
go.
my tanks. I can only watch now. Time
Okay.
to root on.
Woo! Like, this is... I like, realistic, I can barely see shit, and the things are slow, but... Look at the speed! The power! Look at that, I can drift! Now I just need to, you know, wait for shit.
There's an M22 looking at you from the left. I don't like having to fire from like a far distance. 'Cause it's like, oh, I have to account for what's-a-mahoozy, delays. Oh yeah. He's just sitting there. There you go.
I didn't get him.
Oh, it disappeared. Tricked me.
Can't see shit! I'll just wait here. Oh, looks like we're gonna win if I don't fuck up. Oh, Jesus! I'm gonna fuck up. Critical hit! Oh, no. Aim. Come on. Alright, here we go, here we go, here we go. And... What?
This is creepy. Oh
no. Okay, how am I... Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ricochet shot.
Oh, everyone's just shooting. Let me see. I think it's because I think the only one alive left in this vehicle is his driver. Oh no.
Critical hit on something. Oh, now my guys are dead. This is annoying. Come on.
He can't kill you, you can't kill him, it's perfect.
No, this is not perfect. Come on, here we go. And come on, come on, come on, come on. How? Oh, Jesus!
I hope that's not friendly.
No, that was red.
Oh, he survived too.
Yeah, because it was a friendly shot.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, my... Oh, wait, what am I thinking? I can use... There we go, crew knocked out. I used the second thingy.
Uh-huh.
And, oh, they captured A when I was, like, not looking. Yeah! Just
easy kill.
I'm just, like... Because, like, normally, chat, like, you have to, like... Normally you aim here, and for the longest time, I thought this was quote-unquote sniper mode. I thought this was my best thing, and I was like, how are people doing, like, the long distances and shit? And then I learned it's like, oh, it's because, you know, they actually go down this site.
Battle's almost over. Awesome.
Nice. I'm number 1! I'm doing better than you!
That's not fair. I had a spawn camper. I had a spawn camper.
Hey, I had the spawn camp. We spawned at the same place. I, like, ran in and I like, just aimed down sights and I was just like, oh shit, and just went, like, because of the whole braking thing, like, just, it was great. Oh my god,
oh my god.
Ill wind and
okay.
3rd right flag 8 for defeating 100 opponents. Oh my god, that was so great. Heavy metal fury destroyed the most ground units of other players. If they have equal, the reward is given to the one with the bigger score. It can't be more than 11.
Oh my god, you're so close to that 2.3 now.
Oh, nice. I'm not that far away. Excellent. And I got
A
filters
lot of
done.
points, good.
All tier 3s for the M3. Oh my god, this is great. Alright, so I've got 165. I'm gonna put it into... the... What's the transmission? Maximum inclination, acceleration time. Yeah, I'm gonna put it into that. So then that way I can do the thing. This is great. Alright, one more?
One more.
One more at this thingy-majiggy. You can't put a quote in? Oh, I think... Oh, I had it, like, restricted to subscribers and moderators, I believe. Angro can put a quote in. There used to be, like, there used to be a shit ton of quotes, and I feel like at one point some people were just adding in quotes of what I was saying and grabbing quotes from the past because it was, like, a TTS thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, over time, I was just like, I feel like that's all I was hearing was TTS people. And that's why I, like, removed the TTS redeem for streamers. Sorry, for subscribers. Because I didn't want people, you know, just using TTS to communicate with me. Because then there would be this issue of, oh, we're back here again. But from a different side.
There you are, on the other side.
Yeah. Alright, I'm heading to... Allow. Ding.
Endraud has added quote number 454, jack off the cock.
Thank you, Angrel, for the 54th quote, sorry. I've got a number of these now. It's weird to me that it's like I'm remembering all the dick-related ones where it's like, Jesus, that's a tall wiener, and what is it? I just want my dick sucked. Is that too much to ask? I do not remember the context for why I said that either. It must have been in Kingdom Hearts or some shit like that, just haphazardly. Oh, hello. Observe as I got him.
Observe as Grant steals my kill.
Hey, how many shots would it take you normally?
One. But I shot his gun.
Rear. 1-0. Target destroyed. He made it easier for me. Yeah, I see it. Just gonna see if I can thread the needle here. Darn it.
No. Helping a friend.
No,
Lost my gunner.
okay. These feel like
There's
weaker tanks than normal.
May have been down tier. Let me check. 3s. Yeah, it looks like we got down tier 2.
Why were we down tiered?
Just how matchmaking is sometimes. Sometimes you get fucked, sometimes you do fuck it.
Because, like, this is a tank destroyer tank. I don't think there's tank destroyers at lower tiers than this.
Target damage! Target destroyed!
So, Sorry,
kill
get
me.
destroyed. Yeah, I see. They're just hoping they can.
Yep, there. I was hoping they didn't know how to kill me.
Oh shit. Yeah, now they know how to kill me.
There's a BT5 in the back.
6.
Engine online.
BT5 is what I should be aiming for.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Just as the repairs and the crew replacement was done. 5 ground
That's a pretty
targets is
annoying
not
guy.
bad.
No, wait, we're at the top.
Nice. Alrighty, let's try the M22. Let's see how I do with like trying to go fast. Can't justify the pace because you don't do the morning streams often, and now I'm in the east. I'm sleeping for work when you sleep. Yeah, that's the problem with time
Hyena?
zones. Have you considered Hyena, unnamed? They are over in the in the
Central time zone.
yeah the
Central Standard Time.
you're in the deep south, Texas something, right? Texas is in the deep south, right?
Not kind of. Texas is kind of its own thing, but it is. Yeah, it's part of the South. The deep South is like if you go down to, if you hear banjos, you're in the right spot.
There's banjos in Texas, right?
On the East Coast, and I mean, not the East Coast, the east side of Texas, and I avoid that side.
Okay. It's just like, oh, we don't go to that side of Texas. That's the weird side.
That's where the weirdos are. Can't believe it.
Oh, there's an MA. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I just saw that.
Right track on the way out.
Most of the team is dead.
Half, yeah. We just need to, you know, find them this time. Oh, that person is not alive.
In the south of the Bible Belt South. Not the Bible Belt, although there's a lot of Bible hunters in this part of Texas where I'm at.
I've seen young Sheldon. I know church is a thing in Texas and it's like a big thing.
Big thing. The non-denominational churches where they're built in a warehouse and they take your money.
Hmm. Alrighty. Hang on. Can I climb this thing? Ow. Oh, my tracks! Alright, this is gonna be a very bad spot.
Hey, game's over. Let's squad.
Woo! Best squad. Hey, I came third. Didn't use all my lives. That will most likely get me the 2.3 thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Came third. 5,700. 931. Hey, I got another star. I got the yellow star. Research is complete for the M5A1. That's my light tank. Transmission completed. Yay. Alright, so order that. And the M3 Stewart is going to get replaced by the M5A1.
Frack, I just got one thing to say that Louisiana, more like Loserana.
If your state was made off of land from the Louisiana, you have no right to talk shit on Louisiana. I'm not, like, granted, with this accent, you think I would know a lot, but no, I don't. I just know, like, I know, like, the random tidbits where it's like, oh, the reason why... What's the state above Texas that has, like, the frying pan-looking handle?
Oklahoma?
The reason why Oklahoma has that, like, strip of land above Texas is because, when things were getting drafted into law where it's like, oh, you can't do slave trade and shit like that above the quote-unquote, like, some sort of random line that they decided on, Texas was like, well, shit, if we keep this, then we're, you know, the entire state has to deal with this thingamadiggy. That's no fun. And they're like, hey, Oklahoma, you wanna deal with this? And they're just sort of like, I guess, sure, give us that land, it might be useful, and then nothing really happened with it. So that's the reason why Texas doesn't go as high as it does. They wanted to keep their, like, strict.
Excuse you, we get pretty high down here.
Alright, M3 Lee is what I'm going to research next. Alright, M3G, something or other. Alright, we are gonna go for the engine next because it would be dumb to go for smoke. Hey, I got myself a new icon. Alright, so I keep the M22. The M3 is pretty decent. The M8, however, I should swap that with my Grand, so then that way I've got the 2.3 for the M5 and this guy. So choose crew, and
Oh, so we're moving up to 2.3 now, right?
yeah, we're moving up to 2.3 because I now have the M5A1, so I now have a light tank to, you know, go with the thingamadiggy, and then I have my these two 1.7s that are like an okay kind of backup. So yeah. I know himbo be himbo. It's okay. You don't know things. I know. I have like an approximate knowledge of some things. They started Louisiana by telling prisoners they could go there if they took a prostitute with them. What?
There's a discussion about the French penal colony.
Oh.
Louisiana.
What the fuck? Oh, America. Sometimes you make no sense. Alright, so, yeah, the item booster is expired. Has this booster, and not for another. This thing is going to expire in 22 hours. Upon activation, give... Okay, so, but if I activate this, it only gives me 146%, but that's fine, because that's still giving me, like, a major boost on the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I usually just dump all of mine the second I get them.
yeah. Alrighty, so 2.3, 1.7, 1.7, 2.3 again, and a anti-air 1.3, which is useless. We're good?
I am Gucci, so yeah, there, I'm ready.
Alright, let's try this. Most famous for making people leave the planet. What happened? Like, what happened to Ohio? Why do we know it as this, like, everyone leaves Ohio?
It's the sudden realization that, hey, Ohio is a thing, and what goes on in Ohio, and everyone's like, I have no idea.
Mm.
So it's just a collaborative effort to shit on Ohio, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, because, like, there's so many... Like, Nebraska is a fucking square. Like, why is Nebraska not made fun of?
I'm gonna wait to see where you spawn in, and then I'm gonna follow you in, because if we spawn in at opposite sides, we'll never see each other.
Alright, I'm gonna try this... I'm gonna try the Grant as our first thing. Oh my god, I have so much ammunition in here. I'm gonna blow up. Alright, I've spawned. I'm probably gonna go to A.
Awesome, you spawned the good one.
Alrighty. Oh, we all spawned at the good one, it seems. Oh my... Alright, so... What is G? What the fuck is that thing supposed to do?
That is your smoke grenades.
Oh, shit. Non-penetrative. Oh, God. Oh, wait, I should go with, like, the much more denser thing to do. And say... Alright, I need to get rid of this thing, and then go for the others. Also, why do I have two reticles? Like,
Because you have two main guns.
What?
They will both fire at the same time.
What?
Pull your trigger.
Oh my god. Alrighty, let's...
Yeah, you need to send a bind for each one individually if you want. Like, put my thumb buttons to them.
Alright, so what's the bottom one do? Okay, I don't think the bottom one is... Thank you for the Hyper Himbo Automata. I'm gonna need it in this fucking tank. Oh my god, why? Oh yeah, because one of them is, like, really strong. Oh, Jesus. Oh yeah.
You're also essentially a giant box, so your armor is pretty bad.
There we go. Target destroyed. Alrighty.
Did you see it?
Dome-chan, thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh my god, it's Dome?
Dome?
Hi, Dome.
Hi. I'm in a tank that's the same name as me.
Artillery barrage in your sector.
Ooh, the reloading is relatively fast. Thank you for the boops, Morse. Bear? I'm not a bear. I'm a zebra.
Oh, talking about Dome. Dome's a bear.
Oh, yeah.
Princess Boyber, hello.
What's gonna happen if you shit on Nebraska? The corn is gonna get offended. No, 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 no. The state with the corn is Idaho. You can't watch the stream? Question mark? No, you can watch the stream. Wait. Are you able to watch the stream? Is my next question now. There we go.
Restricted. Dome, you should watch the stream. Calm down.
Look, there's just an issue of I'm a hyper-muscular zebra, and sometimes my shirt is stolen, okay? Sometimes the titties are out. And unlike Unnamed, I don't get banned.
Listen.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it was a bad idea standing here. Fuck it. Oh, damn it.
I'm proud of my bands.
We need Grant to label a map of the US. I reckon I would get 20 of them. I can list the without Googling it, I'm pretty sure I can get 30 of the states. Without looking it up. Alright, now I move over to the M5A. Okay, I don't need that many shells. Jeez. Oh, actually, maybe 13 and 30. To battle. So yeah, I've been taught by my old housemate, do not... Oh. I spawned right in front of a goddamn bomb. Hey! You took my shirt, Ernu. I've lived here all my life, and 20 sounds about like what I'd get. My mom she was educated in the United States, and she goes on about how, oh, like, back when she was in school, you had to name all 50 states and their capitals, and I'm like, there's no way you can do that. Oop, hello, 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 and missed. Hang on. God damn, this thing is fast. I have no clue what I'm doing. Oh, hang on, found someone.
That's not good. There's a T-28 on the battlefield. Calm your right, Paddy.
You think if I could clip my cannon into the tank, I should be able to shoot inside the tank. There's an online thingy for testing your knowledge, either by labeling a map or just listing names. Okay. Send me the link and I'll go through it. I reckon I'd do alright. Oh, I can use the backup. Okay. Get rid of the smoke. Lower that down. Lower that down. Lower that down. I don't need so many bullets. How come...
More bullets.
Need bullets. Come on. To battle.
Do you have a question?
I don't know any state birds. No. I'm on my way. Oh. There we go. Who really needs New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island right next to each other? Wait, what? Hopefully I read that correctly.
You did. Also, Rhode Island. Why is that? It's literally just an overglorified freeway.
It's still like there. It's still an island.
It's still there, and should it be?
guys loved islands so much, you wanted Hawaii.
No comment about Hawaii. No comment about any of the non-48.
The non-48. I have a 48-star flag in my room. My mom gifted that to me. As you should. Ah! Fuck it, I'm gonna be a dick and I'm just gonna call artillery right on top of him.
Jump artillery, get a plane, Lumpy in there.
Artillery barrage on its way.
There we go.
Just American. Yeah, no, it's a real marvel that you can even, like, I don't know, speak English.
Oh, it's already destroyed. Okay. My goodness. I go onto like a weaker CPU and I actually feel like my brain is slower. I don't know how this math tracks out. Like I'm trying so hard to do the tank shit, which is relatively slow, and then I'm looking at chat and I'm like, I am not been keeping up with the discussion about the US states. Hi Dazzy. Hi Dazzy, welcome to the stream. Thank you for hosting me and Code last night when we decided to like be little shitters and sit in your Discord playing Final Fantasy. Can one of my moderators give Dazzy a shout out, please? They are, if you want a streamer that is like awake at all hours of the day streaming everything, Dazarus. Ignore the fact, oh my god, I whipped that and it was gone. God, how do you not get... Oh! 2 times I just like fire from the hip.
They have no one left on their team.
You are in enemy detection. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, the anti-squadra.
Hey, I got the final 3rd! Sent a link to unnamed. You know I have a Discord, right? Hang on. I have the buttons to do this.
Oh my god, I got it right here.
Nope, that's the wrong button. There we go. I have a Discord. You can drop memes and video game related nonsense in there. Hey, I got a battle trophy, which gives me...
And then I just passed the link on to you, Grant.
5 backups for the M5A1 and the Grant. Was that a boob robot? Oh, the TTS. You're talking about the TTS. So, where are they? Bing dong. Boobies. Boobies. So this is the robot. They're kind of like me, but they're not exactly me. As you can see, it just says robot, and they got the Lara Croft titties, and they're just, you know, a conventional Australian plug on the head. See? Isn't it cool?
I love when the robot comes up. I get to rub my tits on it.
All right, I got tank destroyed. All right, to hangar. Boobies! Boobies! Oh, I didn't get to research anything. What? I swear I did, like, enough. Apparently I did. All right, so... All right, so 2 things I need to do. Number 1 is do a different thing. All right, so the 37, I'm going to have it slotted with the M51B ones. The 75s, I'm going to keep them on the M6 ones. There's machine gun. Offensive armament. I can either go for the 7... What's this one? Wait, is it...
That is 7.62mm. That's the machine gun, isn't it? Wait a minute, let me look at this.
Oh, for some reason, like, I just installed, like, several things. I don't know how I did that. Oh, everything is, like, basically unlocked. So I got the artillery, so I don't have to worry about... that's why. All right, and then this one, I'm just working on the engines. All right, I need to check my Discord, is it? Find the US states. DMs. All right, hang on. Let me get Opera GX because that's my that's my jam for doing internet shit via like the things. Alrighty. So they give me a 7. Oh my god, there's so much advertisement on this page. What the hell? What the fuck? Alright, close. Why is there so much advertisement on this page? Do I not have an ad blocker? I guess it's just the native ad blocker. Okay, so let me swap some things around. So ding, dong, bam, boom. Oh, the desktop thingy-majiggy isn't working. Hang on. Main source device not connected. Primary monitor. All right. Hopefully I do not DDoS myself. Yep, cool. Awesome. Play quiz. Illinois. Oh, I want to say here. Oh. Oh, fuck. All right, Maryland is here? Oh. Washington. Oh, yeah, there. Oklahoma is here. New Jersey is... Okay, where's... I want to say here? Damn it! Idaho. Here. What? How am I oh my god. Nope. Arizona. Oh, oh, fuck. Alaska, Hawaii, Rhode Island is... Oh. I am terrible at this. Alaska. That's the big one. North Carolina is... Okay, so North and South Dakota. Nope. New Mexico. Here. Connecticut. Here? Damn it. Oh, Virginia. That is my grandfather's state. That is here. Tennessee. Nope. Michigan? No. Alabama? Oh, I got Alabama right! I did not get Arkansas. Nebraska is just this... Oh, god damn it. I thought it was like a perfect square. North Dakota, Delaware is... here. Damn it. Indiana is... I want to say... Nope. South Carolina. Where's North Carolina? There's South Carolina. Florida is down there. Nevada is there. Mississippi is here. Damn it. Hawaii is those islands. Missouri. Damn it. Utah. Nope. Yay, I got okay, Wyoming is the square state. West Virginia is this one here. New York then is this one. Kansas. Yes. Georgia. Colorado would be... I want to say... Damn it. South Dakota, California. Damn it. New Hampshire is up here. Damn it. Oh my... Texas. There we go. Kentucky is on the frying pan. There we go. Montana... Oh, god fucking damn it. Wisconsin. God damn it. Alright. That's Vermont. And then that's Louisiana. 42%.
That's not bad.
Quiz stats. Let's have a look. I got 21 out of 50 correct.
It's a map of the irrelevant states are in red.
Yep. I knew, so I got Vermont, Vermont I got because it's like, oh, process of elimination. Alabama, Oklahoma was luck. West Virginia was process of elimination. Nevada, I knew. Kentucky, I knew. I think Kentucky is the only fair one where I was like, I know exactly where that is. So, thank you for the quiz. Alrighty, close that. Oop, nope, that's discussion about power supplies. I need to minimize that. That's nothing but boobs. Here we go. So yeah. They got a ton of quizzes here. One I saw was flags of Oceania. Oh, I'd be absolutely terrible with that. Like, geography is not my strong suit. Alright, so the M5A1 is doing improved parts. The M13 ain't doing shit. Alright, you're ready?
I am ready.
Alright, we'll go again. Oh, I am in the wrong tab for my thingy. There we go. And then in here, any new people? PSI and someone. Alright, don't. Oh, it's...
Oh, okay.
Alright. Once again, go with the Grant. Oh, I forgot to bind the,
Oh, the 1 and 2. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see, can I do it quickly once we spawn?
Crew positions.
Ready up. Bravo ready. Gunner ready.
Loader. Ready.
Oh my god, I'm so heavy. Alright, so... M22, M14, T28, M3A1 Stewart. I think we're down a rank.
It looks like we are. It goes down to... Oh, wait, no, there's 3.0.
Oh.
We got an up tier, but there's a lot of 2.3s. Should be fun.
I guess everyone is sort of gauging the skill level, perhaps?
I think there's one person with a 3.0 who screwed over his friends he's teamed up with, and they joined up with him. Because one person on there is 1.70.
Okay.
Which... kind of middling. It's okay.
Alright. Okay. Let's all band together to send a himbo a bad dragon care package. No. No, 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 no. You are limited to donations, which I would absolutely love, or whatever the fuck you find on my throne. You can recommend things to my throne, and there's an advertisement on, so they have no clue what I'm saying. Unless they're subscribed.
I hope they're subscribed.
Just throwing a random shot. You miss the shots you don't take. Non-penetration. There we go. Right there. I sent like an artillery strike. You're re-downloading this game now? Oh, are you gonna join us, Tatsu? Gonna make it a three-player squad? Tatsu's good. Can we get a shout out for Tatsu, please? They're another kobold. To battle.
destroyed. Target damage. Good.
I'm just gonna sit here and wait for something to flip me back over.
Excuse me while I get. Oh, god damn it. Might take a little to download though. Fair enough, not to worry. Alrighty, now for the M5A1. Let's see how we do in this light tank.
Before you get to the front, come flip me over.
Oh, there you are.
I'm right here.
Yeah. I'm getting there at a banging 42 kilometers an hour. Do you have your hook out?
I do have my hook out.
Alrighty, here we go. Okay, so you're on that side then.
Yeah. You're not hooked.
That explains it.
You gotta press 0.
There we go.
There you go. There we go.
Alright, you're good now.
Phantom!
Phantom!
With the
Oh my god,
15-month
that's-
tier 1 sub. You're cute,
My-
boy.
My stream could not my PC could not handle fireworks, confetti, and an alert at that point. Thank you so much, Phantom, for the subscription. I greatly appreciate it. It's gonna help me when I get paid one day from Twitch, hopefully this month. I don't know how many subscriptions I'm away from getting paid. I need like 20 at the very least. You don't have to deal with the advertisements that pop up on stream, and you get to utilize all the cool emotes I have available. I'm trying to get more. Oh my god, I need to, hang on, slow down and get ready to take a shot. Cookie for Bookie! Oh my... Yep, I'm going slower right now. Do you think they're behind these, thingies? The
Right here.
crates? Oh, jeez. Oh, hang on.
Artillery strike in your sector.
Target damage. We've been hit. Target hit.
Artillery barrage on its way.
Oh, there's two of them.
This guy is not dying. There you go.
Oh. Well, that's me dead. I love how my tits are still bouncing during that entire time. There we go. Yeah, your CPU's busted. If I can help, I can save up and send you money for a new computer part. Do not worry about that, considering there's like... Look, worst case scenario, I'm spending, like, that's a $4,000 expense. That is not something... Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Statistics. Okay, so I'm not too bad. I'm 5th. With 2 ground, 4 assists, with 3 deaths. Right. Alright, where's you?
Currently, fixing my transmission.
Okay, how do I make it that I can, like, you know, move the camera around without moving the mouse, or the other way around?
I don't think you can.
Yeah. But no, it's not the CPU that's busted. The CPU, thank Christ, is still strong. That AMD CPU is absolutely bussin'. It's the GPU that's decide to go kaput. The contact centers don't open until... Oh, actually, technically speaking, the contact centers have opened up now. But, yeah. I already sent in, like, an electronic... Oh my goodness, this... What is going on? Do you see how slow my zebra is? It's like I'm in slow motion.
Yes, I see that. Shit.
I think it was shift or control. Oh, you have a cat on your,
Yeah, I got a little plushie.
little plushie. Just a little guy. Alrighty, hang on. Alt tab. There we go. Now I'm... Is this a normal rate? Maybe this is a normal rate. I don't know. Open this chat. How do I... Alright, looks like I'm back to normal now. That's good. Oh my god, I look so much smoother when I did that. It's weird. Alright. Mark of Distinction allows you to use all 4 slots for decals and shit. Yay! The thingy is done for the M5A1. The M3 is progressing nicely. 230. Alright. I'm gonna put it into tracks, because last time I was using it I accidentally busted a wheel. Ooh. Author's camouflage is available? Diana? The fuck is Diana?
Oh yeah, there are custom camouflages you can purchase.
Oh.
Or get them in an unlock or whatever.
Radio. Nothing. Oh, there we go. Now it's loading.
It's downloading, yeah.
Okay. I'm fine without it.
And a lot of them are they're just historical ones. Sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're not.
Yeah. Alrighty, crew training, 59 points, 53, 97, 108. Crew training, give me a second. Tank reloading is 100 points, yes please. Giving me 80 points left, which I'm going to put into... What's keen vision? In the direction they're looking, as well as the range of detecting air targets. Visual range, agility, vitality... Logistical services, repair speed, repair rank. Wait, hang on. The mechanic's skill, at the rate at which the vehicle is repaired in the hangar, at the airfield, or at the port. Reduces repair time by up to 3 times when fully researched. Thank you for the nut. Radio communications... Nah, I'll just leave the 80 as is. You got a new profile pic. Nice! Boobies! Boobies. Alright, where was my brain going? Oh, yeah! Controls. I needed to split the, Alright.
Oh, that's right.
So, I got my firing on the thingy-majiggy. Fire from special guns is left control and mouse button 5, apparently?
Yeah, no, you don't need that one. It's the fire from the main caliber gun and fire from secondary guns. And so I put mouse button 5 for main caliber and mouse button 4 for secondary.
Alright, how do I remove
Oh, you don't want to. You don't need to.
Alright, there we go. So firing from the main is left click, firing from the secondary is mouse button is the right click, and then firing from the special is M5, and M5 right now is doing the communications of set target for squad. So... Alright, should be okay. Alright, should be okay. Oh, I missed your new profile picture. Hang on a second. What's it look like? Give me a second. I've got the back for a beat. Thank you, Desi, for coming back for a beat. Oh, damn it! I can't check Phantoms now because someone else went and done the thing. Gosh darn it. All right. So I've done those splits. All right, let's go again. Nice. So close to 69, frack. Has already had their cuteness right. Alright, does it show? No, it doesn't. Alright, hang on. Oh, damn it, I can't. I won't alt tab any further. Alright, I'm gonna go into the grant again. We're gonna see how I go with, like, remembering these button binds. Alright, so So, which one's the second one? Okay, I have no clue how to tell one reticle from the other.
So it should be the little circle. The little circle should be your main gun, and the little cross is your secondary thing. Unless it's the other way. I don't know. Whatever.
We'll figure it.
Just shoot both of them. Hope for the best.
Hey, target destroyed. So far, so good. Oh, Jesus. There we go, now I can see a bit better.
We're good to go. Come on, let's go.
Engaging the enemy!
I just realized also that that crosshair is not for both of your guns because both your guns have different
Artillery strike.
rounds.
Bravo.
If you want to see the crosshair for your big gun in front, you have to switch to your secondary weapon with pressing Y and then go into the weapon and you can change your gun.
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like when you're pressing the Y button on the keyboard. There's
Ah.
a weird menu that actually accesses a whole bunch of like systems.
Ooh. Oh my god, so many kills.
They're having a hard time penning us.
Target destroyed.
Target destroyed.
Oh, they got me.
Target destroyed.
Artillery strike incoming! Artillery barrage this way! Attacking! Let's keep the pressure on. Look out! There!
Ah, darn it. Soviet man. Hi there, Absalom. Alright. M5A1. There were so many kills with that one.
Yeah, you're at the top. 8
Oh.
kills.
Jesus Christ. 8 kills, 2 assists. Because, like, I think they were busy with your Grant, and then with me, I was just sort of like, oh yeah, left click for the first hit, M5 for the second. And the
It's good you get the 50% research boost because of that. Because of all those kills.
Yep. So, and because I noticed that the first one would do a little bit of an arc, and the second one Like, it would stop them dead in their tracks, and the shot was, like, much quicker.
There's also stuff you can do with it, like tricking them into thinking you fired your gun, because you have 2 guns.
Yep. That's a lot goes well as planned.
Wake up!
Yeah, the next closest person is you with 4 assists. You probably helped me a few of those.
Let's
Nut.
keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
Wake up!
Alright, they went behind the, They went behind that hill.
Yeah.
They're sitting in their spawn.
They can't do anything anymore.
Best in squad. Number 1. US number 1.
Holy crap. That was a good
If you
round.
restart my himbo or cute rating, I can do it again. No, I don't have the code to be able to do that, unfortunately. I'll just have to click on your name now. No, I've seen that profile icon before, I swear. Or, if you want, I have... Granted, it's 7,500, but I have biggest fan. Right now, Hendrix is my biggest fan. I absolutely love Hendrix. Alrighty. Yeah, I got myself the Blankenkreuz. God. The M3 was so close to done.
So very close.
So close. Alright, do I have a... No, I only have the 10% thingy-majiggy active. God, the Grant is fun. I am enjoying it. What the hell? Ugh, big stretch.
See you in 1,000 hours.
Sorry?
See you in 1,000 hours.
I can't do 1,000 hours with this game. There's so many others I gotta play that I want to play. I want to go through the Yakuza series. I want to go through Final Fantasy. Someone wants me going through Uncharted at one point. I gotta get back to God of War. Alright. I'm gonna go with the M5A1 this time right at the get-go instead. Get some practice in the light tank. I love destroyers and heavies, but I need to do my thing. Is this the one with the bridge and the hill?
Positions.
Bridge in the hill. There's a couple of like hill bridges.
Ready.
Loader ready.
But no, this one is just the opposite of what we were playing right now.
Ah, okay.
So this is the spawn where that you push them back in and just ruin their day.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
What?
I flipped myself. I'm back.
Wake up!
Oh.
Alright!
Oh, M2 over there. Oh, sorry. I hit too hard on the... Oh, there we go. Oh. Ah!
Right track damage.
Ah?
Step sis, I need help.
Don't worry, I'm coming.
My hook is out, I think.
Okay, I think this was a bad placement. Oh yeah.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Let me grab the bottom.
Hang on, I can rotate. Oh, hello.
Oh, this guy's doing this guy's
Hey!
doing it. Hey.
Alright!
Step Zebra, are you stuck?
Aw, damn it. I was hoping to shoot that.
No, I had to put that one down. He really can fuck us up.
Yeah, no, he's like, oh, hello. Oh, it's just over the hill. Barely get a shot on.
Oh, there's a lot here.
Look out! Air! Artillery barrage in your sector!
I'm gonna die.
Artillery strike in your sector! Artillery barrage on its way!
The M2 is not doing much. Oh wait, it's moving. There it is.
Uranine
Oh
Zach paid me
shit,
to say
26
help
and
me.
a Stewart
Step
on our
zebra,
left.
I'm gay.
I can't help you if you're gay. Being gay is okay. It's not a problem. Alright, so long as I don't crash again, I am going to try and take on this heavy by running up its fade.
Don't worry, we have ways to make you gayer, not the other way around. Just we can make you gayer.
Mm-hmm.
At least a much.
You don't make me gayer, you just make me, like, love boobs more.
Exactly. All titty, good titty.
Exactly, I wear it on the shirt. Hello, M3! Ah, damn it. Damn it! I thought I had a good gun thingamadiggy, but I didn't.
I regret this. I regret this.
Alright, I'm going over to the Grant. Still got 50 minutes. How long do you plan on streaming? Probably more than 50 minutes, quite frankly. It's not been disastrous. We've only started at 10. I reckon I can get like 3 or 4 hours into this. I reckon it's doable.
Trying to get in a plane and they all spawn in their planes. Great.
We've been hit!
Time to do an artillery strike.
Artillery strike!
Get him out of their little hole.
Echo! Move! This side!
Echo! Move! Acknowledge! Open fire!
Can't get a good shot. No, Panzer. Hello.
Target hit!
Ah, damn it, can't do it there.
No! We've been hit! Driver unloaded!
Damn it.
We've been hit!
Damn. I'm asking because Dazu is going to be starting in like 40 minutes, and if he starts with Monster Hunter, I might have to skip out until next time you're War Thunder. Fair enough. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming at all this week, just because I want to try and like fix my shit, and if I keep myself at home, like in this chair and such like that, I'm more likely to waste money on like delivery and such like that. And when I'm in a mood, I'm just sort of like I want to just be a bear and just like sit in my cave. Just mold, and I can't mold in VR chat, which is my biggest pet peeve. I have 2 display ports, and both of them are being used right now, and the HDMI don't work.
We've been hit!
Oh, you got hit by something?
Yep, that's 2C.
What the hell is hitting me? Oh, the 2CB?
Yep.
Give me a
You know,
second.
the giant land battleship.
Damn it. The thing, like, does a straight fire, but it can't get... They are surrounding A. They have been keeping it in check because of that 2C. Got a hit on it, but no. Ah, goddamn you. Gotta go. Talk to you later, Phantom. Not to worry. Thank you so much for the subscribe. I really appreciate it. I gotta get back to saving again. I have nothing in my bank account. I am literally in the negatives at this point. Goddamn, this GPU, and it's not even a good one, it's setting me back so far. God damn it, we were winning, and then we just lost.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not great.
Alright, let's see, how poorly did we do? I came 9th in our team. I think you came 2nd. Yeah, you came 2nd. You were definitely pulling for our team. I barely got anything done.
Pulling with the 3 kills. That was not our game.
No, it wasn't. Hey, the M3 Lee is done though, so I can add that to my thingy. Yep, spend the 10,000 and I think I'm gonna replace this M3 GMC.
Yeah, that's what I would say you do.
Yep, alrighty then. Because then I go for 2 medium tanks. And then I just need to get a different tank destroyer into slot 5, perhaps.
And either you can research now the M16 MGMC, or honestly the M4A3 is really good.
But then that gets me up to 3. Oh, but then everything else here is a 3 as well, so... yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna research the M4A3.
Because that 100mm it's got, 105mm is really good.
Yep. Alright, so...
It's basically the M8 of its tier.
Alright, I got 201. How does this compare to... Okay, so I got tracks, got the improved. Don't really need the horizontal. Yeah, I'm gonna go for this M51B1. An armored piercing capped ballistic cap shell. Okay. Your role on the team is moral support. I can... Thank you. I can be supportive. I am a hugely supportive person. People always get confused by like, man, you're just so sex positive and such. It's great to see that from a bisexual, and it's like, no, I'm straight, and they're like, oh. I'm giving
so supportive. He's one of my bras.
Bruh. It's one of my bros. But yeah. Ow! Stretch. Once again. Here we go. Alright. Ready for battle. Let's see how we do on this one. It's been a... Light Strife is just like, what? He's straight? Yes.
Shocking.
Shocking, I know. I'm supportive and I'm straight. Who'da thunk? Apparently there's supposed to be a keyboard being delivered today. We tried to deliver your parcel. Are you fucking kidding me? You didn't ring my doorbell. God, I hate living in this apartment. They don't ring the doorbell. They don't use the intercom system. Like, and there's no concierge, so there's no one to be like, oh hey, I can hold this for you.
No.
We'll let you know when and where to collect it. Great, so I'm like basically waiting another day for that thing. Because they're probably going to be like, oh, we'll try a different day. It's like, no, just... You're not queer, you're just autistic.
Oh no.
Oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, like, I think it's, like, it's interesting that, like, you know, because, like, when you hear from people of, like, oh, why don't you think they're straight? It's like, one of the first thoughts is, like, oh, they kind of... It's either that I present Bara, or it's because of, like, you know, I'm just, like, you know, comfortable retweeting like buff dudes, big titty itty girls, and buff ladies, and like the whole spectrum of sexy, and it's just sort of like, yeah, it's all cool. Oop.
You can appreciate things without being actively like attracted to it. I mean, in a sexual sense.
Yeah. So
you're not spawned in, but there's like 4 or 5 of us that are spawned in, and yeah.
Lol. I'm just gonna alt tab. You'll tell me if something changes. Alright, I get to read my chat as well. We love Bear Zebra Grant, but you can angry masturbate, which is going to give you a solid arm workout. If I wanted arm workouts, I'd put it on my... Is it on my throne? Hang on a second. Let me check what's on my throne. I've put exercise gear on there, but I've also put a lot of tech. Fitness. Fit these nuts. Yeah, I've put the Ring Fit. I've put some resistant bands on. I've not put any weights on. Amazon.com.au. Alright, has anything changed in War Thunder? Yay! Something changed in War Thunder. To battle!
Congratulations, you're one of the few people allowed in. Press tab.
Yep.
Look at the scoreboard.
Oh my god.
There's nobody here.
You know what this sounds like? Me going all the way to the right while you're holding on A, and I'm just gonna wait for whoever comes in.
There's the one guy who spawned and their team killed me.
Looks like more of them are coming in.
Oop, they're on our right, they're on our right.
Damn it. Some guy had the same idea as I did. Ah. Boom. Boom. Donk. Alrighty. Agiosexual. I could be many things, but I had this really great chat in a Discord. Lesser Conjurer was the host, I remember now. And the whole, like, you know, sexual preference and what have you is very much a like gender is very much a spectrum where we no longer have to be restrictive with, you know, only being within bi, pan, straight, or gay. It's like it can be this, like, you know, demis and what have you. I go with, like, I categorize myself as straight just for the very simple fact of it makes the most sense to me, like what I like and what my brain is and such like that. So, and because of, like, you know, the discussion of, like, oh, autism being a spectrum kind of thing, it makes total sense to me where it's like, yeah, sexuality is very much a spectrum as well, where it's like, I would put myself down as straight, because it's like, there are a lot of girls I very much would go for girls and such like that, like, unequivocally more often than not. And there might be some guys, but many of them are just female presenting, and quite frankly, like, unnamed with the massive titties.
I get that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like I just said, okay, I'm just gonna start calling myself pan. It's like I would say overall I'm straight, but then there's some things that make me go, yep, the brain is tickled.
Radio. Okay. So, fair enough.
And then, I mean, of course, how I present myself.
God damn it.
I'm obviously far from straight.
No, understandable. So yeah, I feel like, you know, when I'm off the internet, I present way more straight than pan, quite frankly.
Oh yeah, I was actually had a discussion with people. Hey, I stream. I'm talking about some of the stuff I do. And they're like, you can have an ally. And I'm like, yeah, sure, an ally. I'm not totally within the spectrum of, like, sexuality.
Darn it, couldn't get anything done with my M3. So.
I'm about to lose my last tank. This guy can't kill me. And he can.
Alright, going on to the Grant. I had way too much ammunition in the thingy. At least we're winning.
Just keep it up, and victory will be ours.
Artillery sight, coordinates. Bravo. 3. Destroy.
Bravo! 3! Acknowledged. Open fire! Aviation on the way.
There we go.
Load armor piercing.
Oh,
Big jump.
big jump. Okay, looks like there's a medium and a light on A. Oh, there he is. Ammunition exploded. Ah! I hate it when that happens.
Very weak sides. Oh wait, front.
Yeah.
Return to hangar.
Yeah. Return to hangar. Shame. I have been an advocate for sexual preference and romantic attraction being on separate spectrums that don't align since I was 19 and fell down that encyclopedia rabbit hole. Personally, pan-romantic, I have fallen in love with many people regardless of their gender, expression, or identity. However, when it comes to my sexuality, mama needs penis. I am a limp noodle unless there's a ding-a-ling-ding-dong involved. Fair. Interesting. Alright. Turn to hangar. Did anything get researched in my time? No, it did not.
No,
Hey, we got
have to wait for
victory.
the battle to be over.
Nice.
Oh, and now that the battle's over, it's been awarded.
Nice. Alright.
Unless the snail is dying.
Wait, is this the... Oh, no, this is the driver. Leadership. What is this my... Yeah, this is the Grant. I am going to put it into leadership, just so then that way it's a more distributed thing. There we go. Alright. Ground. Here we are. Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Cancel, and now to battle. I keep forgetting. It won't, like, update the thing unless I get out and back in. So, yeah. Security warning on my Google account. No, that was me on Windows earlier. Holiday fun. Eastern
but
Europe.
I do want to say thank you for inviting for this, Grant.
Not to worry. I'm glad you're able
Join
to...
you on your stream.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm glad you're able to join us. So yeah, I remember there was like someone did a tweet where it was the you know, Princess Peach from the movies being like, you thought not I would accept your friendship, and she was like collab partner or something, and then it's like Bowser's the VTuber, where it's like kinda like I understand like the context of that screen cap makes it seem like as if, oh, you should not expect friendship from stream collaboration. And a part of me was just sort of like, what do you mean you're not, like, stream collaboration should be done with friends. Why am I collabing with someone I don't want to be friends with?
I sort of get that, but it's like that's the mentality of people who see this as a job, and I'm like, I don't want to collab with people who I'm like, you're my coworker. It's like, no, I want to be with friends. Here's
the thing, is that even coworkers, like, there are coworkers you will communicate with, and there are coworkers you do not bother with because it's just not your monkeys, not your circus.
Oh yeah. Oh. I got pit maneuvered by Grant. you were in your gun sight, didn't even see that.
Okay. Also, I realized what I need to do is controls. I need to change the weaponry around. So, firing the second. Remove that. Change it to M5. Replace. Common. Squad. Set target is M4. Add. Alright, there we go. That way, rather than moving my mouse back and potentially like fucking up my Also, why is my because
Who the hell is shooting?
oh, I can't do. Can someone drag me out of here because of those bozos? Nah.
No way I'm gonna get there in time.
Biggest injustice I've seen is girls' toys versus boy toys. I wasn't able to play Twilight Princess because it had princess in the name. That is dumb. That is... Look, I hate how some people, like, pick their video games for kids. Because you hear, like, ever since with Grand Theft Auto 6 being announced, it's like, oh yeah, back in the day, having to ask my parents' permission for GTA 5. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but in the same dichotomy where parents want to blame video games, they're just gonna say yes to you picking up fucking Grand Theft Auto? You can't have it both ways. You can't complain about violent video games and then say, yeah, it makes sense for my child to play Grand Theft Auto. There's nothing wrong with this. So annoyed.
Now that I'm an adult, I can buy whatever I want. So yeah, I'm gonna play with the princess stuff.
Yep. Do you know adults like account for 25% of purchases for themselves in the toy industry?
I've heard that, yeah.
Oh, get out of the way of the Panzer III, and there's a bomb.
Artillery strike incoming! Artillery barrage on its way! Artillery strike incoming!
There we go. I'm glad that I'm able to help people now. The light tank makes it quicker to do that.
I think those $500 labels, that's crack.
Yeah. Daddy, why do you need a job so I can buy toys? But my toys aren't great. Lol, mine aren't.
Daddy went into debt in his college years for Warhammer.
Plastic crack. I'm waiting for the bomb to go. There we go. Where the fuck did he go? Oh, I am risking it going down this.
Can't hear you when the invisible war on down. I'm so low in the back.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Tuck destroy. There we go.
Look out! There!
Hey, you're in the M22.
Keep it up and victory will be ours.
There we go. And I'm just gonna put a pinky toe into the point. So they have to... Yeah, target destroyed. They basically have to put a I put a pinky toe in, which is like just enough to start capturing this point, but they don't get a good sight line because of all these fences in my way.
They're all stuck in their spawn. We're just pushing them back again.
Yep. It's gonna be our victory.
Heavy action on the way!
There's an M3 that can't get out. Oop, hello.
Artillery barrage.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. They're gonna try and get out of here. Oh, they're going the long way.
Yeah, they saw me pop over the hill and now they're freaking out.
Oh. Oh, I see it. I see one of them. Big Bird is making their way to you.
This guy's making his way to me. Can't find a way to kill him.
Let's see if I can help you. I'm heading your way.
That's fine.
Oh shit, the T-50 is right in front. T-50 got me. I swear my game capture is set up so that if you start talking, like, it should do compression. Oh, nope, I don't. Alright, close. There we go. We win?
Game's over.
Alright. Hi, Hendrix. Welcome to the stream.
Hi, Hendrix.
There we go. 4th. The M4A3 is almost done. The M5A1 now has the M51B1. Hi. I think I'm winning. Like, look at this. I got 2 tank rescuers. Defended friendly ground units. Can't be more than 2. Alright, and then 7... Man, we got so much for the M5A1. Cookie for Hendrix. There you go. Here's your cookie. Alrighty, I am going to get this horizontal drive, so then that way we get all the tier 1s. We're gonna get the adjustment of fire, and we're gonna start the improved fire prevention system. God damn it, Sir Dragon.
Everything. Just everything.
Everything gets activated now because I'm streaming in the morning. We're gonna go into a war. Hey, the war bond shop is available.
There you go. Finally unlocked it.
Thank you for the hyper himbo. Look at this.
There's backups in there where if you get the war bonds for it, you can actually just get a whole bunch of backups.
Can you do this with your avatar?
I'm not allowed.
You're not allowed because it's female presenting. That's right.
I'm not allowed. I've been banned twice. I don't want a third.
Oh, it sucks. 10. All right. Actually, no. That's the 75mm. We're gonna go 20.
Gotta love Twitch. You were nude. No, I wasn't. Yeah, you were.
I
Where?
feel like it's at that point. It's like you just have to go heavy on appeals. There's no way you can just let that stand. Quite frankly.
Oh no, you can't appeal it. Like once you've appealed it and they deny it, that's it.
Oh, what the? That's annoying.
I feel it's because it's a 3-day. They're like, whatever, just write it out, loser.
Yeah. It's only an issue when it becomes like, because what happens because like the math of it is that when you're banned, you have to manually resubscribe to them if your subscribe date falls within the ban. So if you're banned for 1 week, that is potentially a quarter of your subscribers can be, dropped out in that time.
Yep.
If it's 2 weeks,
3-day ban is 10%.
yeah. Unless, of course, like the previous month around that time, you had like a major thingy-majiggy, like a stream, like a birthday or something or rather going off, and it's like, oh, a lot of people decided to subscribe on this day.
And if Twitch says, hey, 30-day ban on you, well, then you just lost everybody.
Yeah, 30-day ban. I've not seen a 30-day ban. I've seen people banned permanently, but I've not seen 30-day bans.
Okay, they're just gonna shoot me in the water. Yeah, we got up tier.
Thank you ServerDogs88 for the 4-month tier 1 sub.
Thank you for the kill assist.
Just make
see.
My hyena manlier. Yeah, you're right, Brad.
Yeah, get a manlier hyena. That way we can be himbos together. Damn it, non-penetrating.
Instructions unclear. My hyena is now pregnant.
That's why it's round. Hang on. Did you see the? Here's something I want to figure out how to do. Hang on. I got up tiered. This is going to be a wash of a session. Let me find the tweet. It should be in my notifications from like mentions and what have you. Everyone's giving me kind words. I really appreciate it. Where are you? 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 Yeah. Okay, it's not that far down for sure. Communications. Cookie! Alright, was it? Dink, dunk. Where are they? Ah, here it is. Lux Foxy. Bing, dong. Where is your DMs? Dunk. Message. Bam, bong. That.
Let me see.
To battle.
Oh. Yes.
So this process has been explained to me like probably 3 or 4 times now, and I keep forgetting it because I don't have the time to practice this, and I especially don't have the time this week to learn it. I need someone to basically sit me down in a Discord call for this one, most likely. But I think like the short of it is you have an additional object.
Oh, I don't care.
No,
what
Hendrix,
gender
not the
you are.
maid outfit.
Put on the maid outfit.
God damn you. I haven't fixed the maid outfit's like blend shape nonsense thing. And I'd have to do it in the AR. I think I did it in the AR kit, but I've not done it in the normal one. I'm wearing this for the next hour. But yeah, so you get an additional object, which is like the sphere or what have you. So then that way you can do all the physics nonsense to that. And you just have it so it's like quote unquote cast onto the other, like, something along those lines.
Yeah, you basically make a new object that's of a higher resolution. You slap it onto the belly, you make it act like a belly, and it's sort of like just kind of like trickery hidden in there, like it's not, like it makes it not really its own. Well, it makes it look like it's not its own object, but it totally is.
Yeah, no, it's because it's just like quote unquote clipping onto the.
Yes, so that's what I am trying to do with my Eam titties to make them even bigger than what they are.
Even bigger?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I got so excited I lagged the PC.
But I think, like we talked about the other day, I don't know what I'm doing half the time, and a lot of it is like, I'll stick to my lane of what I do know, and then very seldom come out of my shell of like what I've learned.
Yeah. It's difficult to do because the only way you can retain it a lot of the time is you just need to do it enough times that it's ingrained in you.
Over and over, yeah.
Which is why, like, textures, for instance, for me, is like, I can do it with my shirts and such, because that's just Photoshop so often. And I get that shit, I've got that shit, like, locked down at that point.
I used to do Photoshop, I switched over to Substance Painter, and Substance Painter used to be incredibly complicated for me, but now it's like, oh my god, this is easier than Photoshop.
There we go,
I still
target
go back to
destroyed.
Photoshop for stuff. Ooh, got the plane kill.
Nice. Hello. Ah!
I was
Wasn't
trying to
paying.
do the exact same thing you were doing.
Oh my god, we didn't decide on. Okay, so there should be someone.
Someone coming this way.
Yeah.
He's gonna come through this gateway right here.
That's a gate?
Yep. That's where I was hiding and shooting at him. I think he's coming in there because he's a little pissy with me.
Cookie for Angrel! Just inserted into the belly. We call it the comfort zone. But yeah, it's... Can't see shit in here. That's it, because there should be a tank destroyer coming around this corner shortly.
Oh, fire your stuff. That means they have to kill you now.
Aircraft, 12 o'clock. Range, 550. Artillery strike, coordinates. Delta, 4, destroy.
That guy just doesn't want to come out.
Target destroyed with the crew knockout. Nice.
There we go.
I was just crawling so slowly backwards, waiting for my shots to line up because they couldn't get a good shot on me on the destroyed building because the destroyed building is like actually part of the geometry. Ooh, hello. Why can't you... Hey! Munition exploded. Nice.
You did it.
I got the final blow as well.
Best squad again.
Woo! But yeah, I want to try and do... Because, like... I know this model is Bara and shit, and there's a Hyper Himbo and there's the D Himbo. But sometimes I want other body types, and it's like such a terrible 3D idea.
Hey chat, what do you think about a fem version of Grant?
They're just clawing, and they're just like, yes, give it to her.
He's...
Alright, so we got the improved parts. M3 Lee, let's go for the tracks. Bimbo button. I think Ernea Zach was supposed to say bottom, but they got that wrong. Spelling mistake. Typo. Right there. Spelling mistake. Hit him with the typo. I want to see what unnamed can do. You don't do, like, you don't do full body stuff. You do edits, right?
Yes, I do a lot of edits. I'm working my way towards that. That's really... So, like, my Hyena is not mine. It's one I got from Gumroad. There's an amazing creator on there. There's a lot of amazing creators on Gumroad. And I've edited the shit out of it. The texture's mine. Clothing options are mine. And a lot of the shape work I'm doing into it is my own as well.
Destroy player vehicles using a SPA. What's a SPA?
SPAA, self-propelled anti-air.
Alright, what the fuck is...
That's basically any of the anti-air guns. So,
oh, okay.
M13, the M15.
Alright, so that one's nearly done. It's gonna take a little bit longer. Alright, training, so that's a 94. 113. Targeting... What does targeting do? Speed and accuracy.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of like leeway with your gunner aiming at something where it could just be a little off or a lot off.
Yep.
And that determines that.
155. Alright, go for you. So the M3 Lee. The M22. It's really gone far. The pulse in range finding is decreased. Affecting targeting speed and accuracy, field repairs, tank driving. Yeah, alright. Ready to go again?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. A button that turns the himbo into a bimbo. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Oh, I could do a magical girl transformation. Look, it would take like, here's the thing. First, we need to get me a femboy model. Second, we need to get me, like, a sailor magical girl outfit or something like that, okay? And then comes, like, all the fun animation nonsense. Inverted zebra is just a zebra strike, isn't it? That
could be
probably...
matching, Grant.
That could be a good one. Honestly, that one would probably be a silly Halloween, but there's already things I want to do for Halloween. I didn't do like so much that I wanted to do last year, like Christmas attire, because you know I wasn't here for Christmas. Halloween attire, I didn't get those done, and I want to do like I want to do Bane, but not Bane from the Christopher Nolans. I want Bane from the one with Uma Thurma. That one.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm gonna be real, I think, looking back on it, that did something. I think that opened the brain.
That did. Yeah, no, I was obsessed with that movie as a kid, and like absolutely that scene fucked me.
You know
up.
that scene, yeah, you know that scene, because it's like muscles, all this kind of nonsense, an entirely different person.
And he's groaning, he's in pain, and then he's just like, "Rawr, big,
Rawr,
shit."
big, and all that, yeah.
Surely this won't affect me when I'm an adult.
Yeah. There's the M13 running real fast, and
Oh.
That movie did things to everyone, and it induced by panic. Like, I think it did, like, some of the, like, there's some classic ones where it's, like, just the Batman-Robin dichotomy. Alright, I'm gonna get this M13. Let's see if I can get this thing doing a... I'm gonna have to stick with you, because I have a crazy idea. Oh, you're anti-air as well. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm anti-air, but I got a little bit of a AT gun on me, and there's a what? Oh shit, we're fucked. Yeah, I'm pulling back. There's a Panzer IV. That means Panzer IV 2.3. Yeah, well, never mind. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
You
They're
still
just
quote
not fun
Uma
things to
Thurman's.
fight.
Yeah. I'm trying to, like, what's a movie that I'm quoting a lot? What's something that I still quote? It's hard. Maybe it's TV shows, or maybe I just don't have a thing anymore.
There's gonna be a Panzer IV on your left. Watch out for him. He will kill you. You won't be able to pen him.
I think I avoided him.
He's in the smoke.
Oh, I'm hitting him. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, I gotta try this in reverse.
Red Hulk. Oh, Red Hulk could be interesting. Red Hulk, I think, would be like, that's just a red hyper himbo with different colored eyes. I think that one might be a quick and easy to do, quite frankly. But you can't crew that anymore. All right, we're going into the Grant.
Artillery barrage on its way.
There's so many Bara costumes. Okay, I probably need to keep a notepad of like the Halloween and costume ideas. So, because Morris mentioned the Pokemon Zeb Strike or something like that. And then, just how you like it, quick and easy. So, I remember you, like, back when I had a successful high seas expedition, I had Substance Painter. And I'm really annoyed that you can get the entire Creative Cloud, but it does not give you anything from the 3D Substance catalog.
I'm paying extra for that. I started being a little bit loose with doing those ever since I found out about the wonderful world of tax write-offs. Where I was like, oh, so to stop paying taxes, I gotta spend more. Cool.
Damn it. There's a guy right there. Deep penetration.
Yeah, no, they got me too.
Yeah.
I'm on my last tank.
What is this? All apps my ass. But yeah. Alright, hang on. Text. So, I need to get into the notepad. Alright, so, new thingy. So, costume / form ideas. So, someone was like, magical girl zebra, red Hulk, Bane, 90s, who was... Alright. Zeb Strika. Alright, there we go. Got those. Alright, I don't have any more things. I'm gonna head back to hangar if I can find my mouse. There it is. Return to hangar. So yeah.
I will not be far behind.
Yep. Don't...
And there it is, okay.
Mm-hmm. When it's Xmas, it's Red Hulk Zebra with a Santa... No, it's gonna be just Zebra with a Santa hat. I'm not gonna be too crazy for Christmas.
Zebra, but wearing nothing but the Santa hat, and the Santa hat's not on the head.
Mm-mm. It's gotta be appropriate for Twitch. God damn you. Horny. Where's my bonking? Nope, that's not bonking. Where's the bonk? There we go. Alright, donk. Fuck. I'm like double checking my emails, waiting for responses from Gigabyte when they're like on whether or not they've read my email and shit.
You were talking about horror stories of dealing with Gigabyte, and I was like, shit, I have one. I had a motherboard that was like dead, and to do the RMA with them, I had to pay basically shipping that was about the equivalent of just buying another one. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's terrible. Oh, hang on a second. Filters. Compressors and limit... Oh, hang on a sec. I need to...
I'm being limited. I'm being restrained.
No, that's not the thing. It's like I'm putting all these other... I'm putting like limiters and all this shit in, but the fact of the matter is that I'm also just having the volume lower.
Oh.
So there we go. Yeah, you're in the orange now, which is all right. Say a few things for chat.
Chat, hi, I'm a busty hyena, and you should subscribe to me. Leave Grant and come with me. I will take you to a happier place.
No, don't
Booba and Bands and
don't.
Have you seen my throne?
Don't listen to fat tits over here. You want to be here with me, the muscular tits.
No.
Don't listen to fat boobies.
See, exactly. There we go.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like you're trying to get views. You're doing like IRL like building Warhammers with the camera zoomed into only the boobies and we can barely see what you're doing.
Oh no, that was not what happened. I'm being gaslit. Look at this, chat. You support a gaslighter.
Oh, I'm not gaslighting. It's called just a fun bit of joshing from a native Australian. I
didn't hear you complaining when you joined chat.
Look, I wasn't gonna complain in your thingy-majiggy, especially as you were so pleased with your new webcam. So
it wasn't new. I jacked it from my significant other, mostly because I've never used it myself, and I was like, how does this work? It's good.
Yep.
And I was pretty happy with it.
Oh, that's good.
And so I told her we need to get one for me. And she said no. And I was like, great. We're sharing now.
Don't you mean our webcam?
That's what I told her, and she says that's not how this works. And I'm like, that's exactly how this works.
This looks lovely, but no, it's mine. Night bra. Don't you mean our bra? Can't wait for you.
No. Her bras don't fit me. I'm much too big.
Target destroyed. Nice.
I'm about to die. There's an M8 coming on me. Leave me alone, Mr. M8.
How the fuck am I still alive?
Ah, you fucked up, M8, and I'm gonna kill you.
Please look in your Discord. This is a Sailor Moon himbo straight from the Sailor... Oh my goodness. You added me? I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, the costume, maybe? Because it is such a silly, like, scantily clad thing. But I don't know about the pink. It looks like Brock with a blood condition. Oh, this opened up. Do you remember the Action Man comic? Not comics, TV show.
Well, yeah, we got a few of them.
There was a
Which
steroids episode.
Oh, are you talking about the 2000s, like the extreme one or whatever?
Yeah, it was like this crazy amount of muscle gain, and it was like within the span of like a weekend or some bullshit. It was crazy. Oh, need to find this because like, oh my god, that was another eye opener. I think looking back on it now. Okay, I'm not strong. I need to swap to armor piercing and then. All right, here we go. Oh.
All I'm hearing from chat is apparently I need to probably try to make you a slutty outfit.
Yeah, haven't you been working on that?
I already have one for you that I still haven't showed you.
I need to pay you for these things.
No.
Yes.
I need practice. I only accept it once I accept it, but I'm not accepting it, so it's over.
Look, here's the thing: if I pay you, I don't feel as bad when I'm just sort of like gonna be like, hey, I had this idea, or hey, what's your process? How are you progressing with this thing? Because like I went for you for like the Yakuza outfit. I'm nearly done with Yakuza 0.
Oh shit. Okay, that one I just need to put it into an A pose and then just send it to you after that because I'm not gonna do the rigging. You know how to do the rigging, right?
Yeah, I know how to do. I know how to do rigging.
Okay.
I know how to do weight paints. It's just a case of whether I'm hoping it's just gonna be automatic weight paints.
I am hoping for that too.
So yeah, because I don't think I have a crazy model and such, and I just did automatic weight paints for the God of War outfit I took from Fortnite. Epic Games isn't gonna, fucking bother me on that one, quite frankly. So, and like that one, like it's all torso up as well, so it's like it would be nice to have the suit work in like VR chat and such like that. So then that way I had like more costumes than just shirt, nipple rings, and topless. So, but yeah, there's so much I need to update with my VR thing. No, we're not getting a schoolgirl outfit. Look, I'm a Bara, okay? We're not gonna be doing... Plus, I feel weird with schoolgirl outfits just in general in media.
It's okay, chat. How would you feel about Grant in a secretary outfit? You know, like a button-down top, it's all stretched, and a skirt.
That one I'm not too bothered. I'm not too bothered on that one, quite frankly. Like with the pantyhose.
How short do you want?
Sorry?
How short do you want the skirt, chat?
Okay, it needs to be at least past the halfway point of the thigh. Otherwise, that's just ruining it.
Halfway point of the thigh. I don't know.
The thigh is like the first part of the leg. You can't be above the. You got to be around the middle of the thigh. Like
how are you going to be embarrassed and flustered while wearing it?
It's still above the knees. That's still embarrassing.
Okay.
Fucking slut being like, oh, it's not a problem. It needs to be like almost showing off your fucking bulge. And it's like, no.
I'm not talking. Well, I mean, we got a little bit of like, I guess some ball below it. I mean, that'd be fine.
Yeah. That's another thing. That's another thing to work on is like better underpants and slash jockstrap bulge. Oh, why is my? Oh god. Do not die. There's a T-28 from 1930s over here. Target destroyed. Crew knockout. Thank goodness.
Hendrix, you have good ideas.
See him?
Yeah, I just got his gunner and his commander. There we go.
Nice, thank you. I just now need to repair.
Grant's like, okay, I'm just gonna lower the Ying's voice some more.
Nah, you're fine, you're fine. Now chat is a little more lively. You need an Ivy Valentine? Jessica Rabbit I think would be funny. Here's the thing, is I love the idea of like Jessica Rabbit drag as well. So like, cause you got the booby window already, but just to have me in like a fake wig or something like that, like just a really shitty wig, that would be good.
A really shitty wig.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
Look. So, like, I like costume ideas, okay? Like, costume ones like those are funny, because it's like... Oop.
Woke up chat by giving them the horny grade.
Oh, I only have like 2 crews. I need help. I can't reload or anything from the looks of it. If I go back up to like the capture point, alright, so I should be able to get a crewman back, right? Shouldn't I?
Nope. You can only get them if you have the unlock to get them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, enemy M22. Let me kill that.
Damn it, gun jams.
Yeah, the little reticle in the center, when the red goes all the way around, that's when your gun is overheating.
Oh.
Or will jam. Hi, T80.
Mission accomplished! 5th. I did not die. Ate too much cake. Oh, how can you eat too much cake? Ugh. Alright.
Need to eat more. Look at the cake on screen.
Alrighty then. Hang on a second. So, Jessica Rabbit, librarian, parentheses sexy. Kimono? Nah, kimonos are too hard to do. Like that's a very much a Adolf. No, we're not doing Adolf Hitler. I am.
No.
Get rid of that. Well, I don't want. Do not besmirch my stream like that. Just blast that shit out of here. Yay! All the tier 1s for the M13 MG are done. All right. So what's this? Ooh, armor piercing. This is the thing to help like take on tanks, isn't it?
A little bit. You're still like some tanks you just can't pierce. Other tanks sometimes you can pierce the front or just go to the side.
Mm-hmm.
It's very situational.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Alright, so that's getting researched. And then we have 400. Horizontal drive. M51. Now let's go for horizontal drive. There we go, and then the M51. That way we do the research across the first tier. You mean Perry the Platypus? A safari outfit a la Steve Irwin or Robert Irwin? Maybe. What famous horses there are that could just be an easy recolor? Not needed. Alright, let's go again. I'm honestly surprised how I'm not like breaking my CPU or anything like that, which is good.
It's being a trooper.
Thank goodness.
Oh,
I can hear the fans going off to max, however, so Hang on. Let's see. Where's the... Oh, I won't okay, so it's right now sitting at 56 degrees Celsius, so it's cooling down. It's just not doing a great job. Oh, another, I like these singular point things. It makes it easier for me to...
Yeah. No thinking, just drive to the point.
Alright, so lower that. Nothing but APs. Like, is there a reason to go for anything other than a armor piercing when you've... Yeah. To battle. Let's see how we go.
Positions.
Ready up. Bravo ready. Gunner ready.
Right on me. Attention to the designated grid square.
Ugh. Excuse me. Steve Irwin costume and I'm just not a very exploratory sort of person, is all. Also, trying to find costumes based off horses and zebras is not going to do you well. Like, most horses and zebras in fiction look very much the same. Like, yeah. That's why you have to go for, like, just any costume. Like, Kratos, for instance, when I was doing God of War Ragnarok was a fun one to do. What are some others that I have done? Or, like, all my different colored shirts. Someone's getting absolutely spit-roasted there. Oh my god, target destroyed with a crew knockout.
Awesome, perfect. Oh, martyr. Yeah, no, that's an open top with no armor.
Yes! It counts, though!
Nope, we got up tiered. I see a 105.
Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah, respawn. Here we go. Did you make the eye stripe black to match your skin or red to match the theme? No. So the way I did it is I was wearing the costume, and in Substance Painter, because you had like the different brushes, I made it look like as if I painted myself white all over. So my stripes were like basically like faded or gone. There was splotches of white that was stronger at like the fingertips or the tip of my ears, and then there was the painted red for Kratos's tattoo. So that's how I did it. So that's the kind of stuff I like going for, is not the, oh, let's go for a perfect rendition. It's a, no, let's go for a cosplay. Critical hit in 3 of the crew members. And a kill assist. Nice.
Artillery strike in your sector. Target active. On the way. Allied forces have captured Thank you.
Target destroyed.
Attention to the map.
Darn, he's on his side. That would have been... Hit.
There we go.
Thank you for the assist.
Oh, I got a killer coming to me. I gotta get out of here. Wee.
Jesus. That was dumb of me. Does the maid outfit still have the nipple knops? The nip knops? No, these like... Hang on. Yeah, no, they look like they have the nip knobs, but it's because I haven't done the blend shape with the shirt properly, which I need to fix. So I need to do that. Oh, non-penetration. God damn it. Alright, and that's out. So yeah, the issue is like I didn't do the blend shapes correctly for the maid outfit, like when it does the hyper himbo stuff, so hang on, so ding. So outfit maid turns off and on a whole ton of different things. Shirts on and off does that. Extra himbo, like it does the extra himbo like blend shape and such, but it only does it for some of the things and not all. Alright, return to hangar.
Oh shit, you already went through all three?
Yeah. Are you still on your first?
Yeah, I just lost my first.
Oh, okay. Yay, I got a jolly bomber. I'm going through this a lot quicker than I expected. What? Destroy player vehicles using an SPA. I swear I did that. In ground A.
Oh, ground arcade battle rank 2 and above. You use the rank 1.
Ah. So it needs to be this one. And once this one is done, then I swap over to that, so. Yonk. Alright, let's have a look at... Oh, I can choose a title now. Tank Man. What's Tank Man?
Ooh.
Tank Destroyer is like 10,000 superior. Battles against other players. Completed all research in the tier 2s. Yay! And then there's these A-Pits. M20 armor-piercing incendiary tracer rounds. Interesting. Alright, I'm gonna go with elevation mechanism, so then that way I'm able to like swap from like one thing to the other quicker. The M5A1.
And there we go already.
Suspension. There we go. Apply. There we go. Ding donk. More letters. Victory in Conquest 3. No, not the lever, Frack!
Good job, Frack.
Ah! Your crew is crazy. How long are you gonna go? Is your PC okay? My PC is okay. I'm probably gonna go for another half hour before I like, you know, look at, scrounging for lunch with what little no money I have. And... Ow. And then, like, look into, like, whether the post office is... Like, whether or not I got a card to pick up the thing from the post office or not. So... Because there's that as well. Because there's, like, a bare bones keyboard I'm gonna be getting. So then that way I can put together a new keyboard, and it's very tempting. I'll probably do it once I get the good CPU again, so then that way I can do the camera hub stuff and all that. I want to do a stream of me putting it together and such. Which I think would be kind of interesting, just sitting in chat with, like, whoever wants, like, Morse, you, or anyone, really.
Oh my god, a Booba stream?
I don't have Booba to share.
Chat that.
I don't have the booba. Like, here's
Chat existed.
the only reason I would wear booba is if. The only reason I'd wear booba is if I were to. Because some people are like, oh, you should wear a maid outfit like what Icy did at a furry convention with your fursuit. And I'm like, the only reason I'll do that is, like, A, like, get rid of this tummy a little bit more, and have, like, giant, like, so I can keep this titty window
Don't
thing.
make me send you
Get
to
some,
Jesus myself.
get, like, giant bazongas to wear as, like, a joke or something. I don't know. If I could pass off more as a woman, I would definitely probably wear boobs more, but I don't, so not happening.
I mean, I wear mine only in the comfort of my home, so. And of course, also on stream.
Thank you for quote 127. I feel like if I went up to someone even as my persona and asked, hey, do you want to suck my dick? They would be like, ew, no. Thank you. Alright, over onto the M3. I'm going on to the tanks that, like, not the Grant until last, so then that way, if I do good in these other two tanks, I'm at least getting the research points applied to them instead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So just need to be slower and methodical. There are so many quotes, fact. I wish StreamerBot had the same sort of quote searches as there's another like sort of not program but website that it's like not Stream Elements, Slobs or something like that maybe, where
Streamlabs has it, yeah.
Where you can search for a quote based off of regex, like a word, which I think is really cool, and I'm really annoyed that StreamerBot doesn't have that. There isn't a way for it to be like, oh hey, because of.
The last track is damaged.
Yep.
I don't think we're gonna win this. They're pushing really hard along that open field.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna win this. That's a shame. Yeah, I've like only got like 100 points just for simply existing. I've gotten nothing.
I have 1 kill and I'm at the top, so
Yeah, okay. Hang on a second. So, yep, that's the M5, which is thicker. There we go. Into battle we go.
Artillery strike in your sector.
Oh, lagging. There we go. There we go. Slambo.
me Slambo.
Let me slam. Oh damn it, my bunker isn't working.
Look out now!
Wake up!
Well, I'm in a bad position. Oh, my gunner's dead? Shit.
He's hiding behind the house still.
There's a locust.
Oh,
on
there's
your
an
left.
M22, yeah.
Yeah, right there. And I can't really do much.
Critical hit.
Oh shit.
Ah. Why do you think people would think ew when you approach them? Just with like an approach like, hey, do you want to suck my dick? That's the approach I'm talking about. It's not easy getting sexy, okay? Thingy.
Yep, same.
Same. Well, we're not gonna finish the stream on a loss for sure. We got another. We got another 25 minutes to battle. Random arcade. So.
That's why you just approach people on the internet and be like, well, you know, the vastness of VR chance. Like, hey, you want to suck my dick? And then it works like that, because nobody knows that in real life I'm not a hyena.
Uh-huh.
Hendrix demands you drink.
All right. Yep. Let me drink.
Crew position.
Ready up. Driver ready. Cannon ready.
Loader ready.
Oh, it probably made sense to go to. I don't know which one would make more sense, the C or the A.
Most people go to A, and it just turns into a clusterfuck every time.
Radio.
Basically, no one goes to C because everyone hates fighting at C.
Captured most of the strategic zones.
Hey, we captured most of them. That's good.
Oh, there's someone on our rear. A locust looking at us. And I'm dead. Okay, cool.
We're controlling most of the zones.
Oh my... crashed into them. Oh, it doesn't even give me like a replay of whether or not it was just the fact that I ran into them at breakneck speed.
It's just like, you know what you did. It just kicks you off there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot.
I can't bend that guy. Reversing.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Oh shit.
There's a lot of them.
I'm being rammed by a T-28. I'm being bullied.
Oh, I see the 228. Target destroyed with the crew knockout.
Target destroyed.
Oh, thank God. That guy was going to kill me.
Someone in the smoke.
There he is.
Oh, you got him?
Yep. You can shoot. You can also shoot your machine gun into the smoke and then kind of guide
for some
yourself with
reason,
the X-ray view.
yeah, my machine gun is not doing shit. I'm in the M3.
You may
lead.
not have one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think there's something about. Wait a minute. Or is your commander dead?
No, it looks like everyone's alive. On your right?
Yeah. He's looking at me. No, he's not.
Oh, damn, you're getting some good shots in.
That was a scout car, so they have like no armor. Ooh, perfect area. They're not even looking at us. Push up. Let me totally whiff that shot.
Panzer 4E, both of them are dead. Neither by my hand, unfortunately. Yeah, they're not gonna do it. Spot! Oh, Jesus, M3 sees me. Yeah, they got me. Hi there, Zarex. Welcome to the stream. It's a little weaker right now. You can notice a bit of lag here and there. I'm on a 3060 Ti that's most likely being used for Bitcoin mining up to the nth degree, hence why the HDMIs don't work anymore. Let's go for the grant.
It's me. I'm causing the lag. Can't
At least I'm able
render
to use it.
titties.
That is true. Sorry?
What? No, I was just making a joke.
Okay. I heard titties and I was like, huh? Titties?
Bottom text?
That is, I have that as a response. I think I've used that on you a few times as well.
You've used that thing. That's like one of our first like interactions years ago.
See booba, bottom text.
I think that made me go, who the hell is this zebra? And I just started following.
Yeah, nice. Looks like no one's they're pushed up so close to their spawn.
Which I don't think I've told you. I'm gonna tell you so everyone else can hear. Your streams, Grant, have been like the biggest influence on mine.
Is that
like,
a good thing?
Compared to, I mean, basically it's your fault. It's your fault I'm released onto the internet like this.
Orb. I got no good response. I'm sorry. I'm just like, orb.
I was being nice. I really like your streams. That's what I was saying.
Thank you. I
To the point where
remember
I'm like,
I have these
Yep.
like concerns of like what I sound like and such, because it's one of those fun little autism things of like, oh god, like if I'm not saying anything, they must think I'm weird, but then if I talk too much, they must think I'm annoying.
no, I don't get that.
Yeah. So, all right, 104 points. Let's put you into oh wait, no, it's mixed. Oh god damn it! I should have put you in the improved FPE. Good night, my dear himbo. Good night, Ernest, Zach. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Sleep dreams. Good night. Sleep tight. Alrighty. To battle. No, thank you for the kind words. I've not done too much improvement, quite frankly, on my stream, and like while I'm now between paycheck, there's like less likelihood of me being able to do that as well. Like, I did not have anything for... There's, like, so much good shit that's going off and around. Like, I want to approach another... Like, I want to approach an artist again, or a different artist entirely for some, like, Twitch alerts, like, more personalized, rather than the...
Yeah.
Like, the thing you see above us kind of thing. Alright, I'm gonna go with this thing again. Like, I want to... Like, I wanted to have, like, more of the himboism present and what have you. I feel like the biggest change I've done has only been the camera thing and cleaning up a little bit of the layout. I still have not changed my background for when I'm on break. I've not come up with like an alternative for when advertisements are going off, and yeah. There's still this feeling of I can do things better. And like sure, like I don't do the 6-hour streams or such that some people might want me to do, like so then that way the Americans have a better chance to see me at a different time or what have you. But yeah, I want to do changes to... Oh my god, what is this semi doing with the binoculars out? Also on our... Apparently somewhere over... There's a guy in that direction that is looking to ram into our flank.
He's just gonna run into our spawn. I mean, that's so strange of him to do that.
It would be great if I took him out.
We're exposing our rear really bad.
Oop.
Oh, it's a Puma. He can really fuck us up.
Got him.
Are you still on fire? Do you need help put out?
Yes, please. I'm repairing right now.
No.
Thank you. Alright, so there's a Panzer IV F1 down that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he missed. Non-penetration hit, damn it. He moved just as I...
There's a lot of people we can see from this angle here.
Alright, rotating around. Hit. Got rid of their He's pulling back. Chi-Ha is... trying to reload.
Chi-Has don't have no armor on those things.
Panzer over there. 4 F1.
That martyr can kill us. Which one do you get?
The M3?
No, this guy. The martyr.
Oh, M3 on our... God damn it, non-penetration. That's not what I want.
Oh. Shit, there he is. Ooh. He hit me with his main gun. It didn't do anything.
Damn it, I can't do anything. Ricochet, damn it.
Oh. You got my gunner.
Hit. Oh, they're gonna about to surround us. Critical hit. There we go.
Putting artillery right on top of us, basically.
Non-penetration. Shit. That was a long while. You're getting off in less than 10 minutes, right? In about 10 minutes. We're not gonna leave this stream on a loss either, just FYI. Alright, M3 lead next. Oh my god.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Oh, I just realized we're outside of their spawn. I'm like, why is there so many?
It's a battle. Ah, more bold. Stop being mean to my friend. You're my friend. We're not friends. We're Hey, you're
Collaborators.
alive still. Sorry?
We're not friends. We're collaborators.
Exactly.
I'm about to die.
The Sao 40, is it?
Yep. That's the thing that'll kill me. But he's scared to peek me.
There's a Chi Ha. Oh, it got you.
Damage on that truck.
I'll join in on your air battle.
I think it'll only bring you in if they bring in something.
Well, they've got.
Yeah, they didn't bring it. What the hell am I flying?
Target destroyed. Target damage.
Damn it.
Need air support.
We've been hit.
Oh shit.
Getting all these clanking nonsense in my head. Barely heard the. Oh, there we go. Darn it. Didn't get the M16 and my tank is destroyed. Just back up. Here we go.
Aircraft. 12 o'clock. Range 1,000.
Hey, I'm not at the bottom of the leaderboard. Thank goodness. Are you out of, what's
No,
in
I
it?
have one left. I assume you're gonna ask out of tanks, right?
Yeah, tanks. Best squad, let's go! 2 ground kills, an assist, and only 2 deaths. Nice. Brake system for the M5A1 done, the M3 Lee hasn't finished the FPE, and we didn't get the M4A3 done. It's okay.
So close though.
Close, but no cigar. 353. Alright, let's get the strike. There we go. Unlocked. Crew replenishment. That's finished. Airstrike done. Working on the crew replenishment again. Alrighty then. 12:54. I don't want to go into another game. I'm fine with just the last 5-10 minutes. We're just chatting. Is that okay with you?
That's fine with me at all. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
just
good.
just
Good
a
with
sort
that.
of de-stressing sort of.
80+ certification for power supplies doesn't.
Wind down.
Wrong thingy-majiggy getting played. Where's the music? There's the music. There's the music. It's low, which is good. And we're gonna move back over to the chat screen. Hello, everyone. Gonna put this thingy-majiggy front and center again. Once my thingy-majiggy is done loading. I enjoyed that. That was really fun. Hopefully, did you enjoy it? Did you have fun?
I did. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, like I said, thank you for inviting me. That was great. It was great hanging out with your chat too.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're able to have a good time. So yeah, because I didn't want to, like, I mentioned this at the start of the stream when I was explaining like why there isn't a schedule, why there, why I'm not like 100% confident and such like that, and it was just the case of like I just put myself in a bit of a bad spot with broken GPU, no savings to like replace it while it gets RMA'd or anything like that, and using like the last of my funds to get like this backup thing that I don't know how long it's going to be. It is yeah, Hendrix, oofies is the thing. So yeah, if you want to like, I don't know, help a zebra out in like trying to replenish their funds, so then that way if they do have to purchase a new GPU or anything like that, something crazy, you can help me out at my coffee. Oh, is that not working? No, hang on a second. Where's the... I thought I had a link for that kind of stuff. I guess I don't. I have been morded. What's Frack on about? Mordered. What?
Mortared? Frack, are you stroking out? Are you alright?
You good, Frack? You good? Hang on, what are my commands? Oh, that's how. Okay, so... Donate. There we go. So, yeah, so there's the thing. I guess I should have changed... I'm gonna add in... So, donate, gift, support, coffee, money. I have, like, so many different aliases for so many commands, just in case someone is wanting a particular command, but they're not too sure which one it is. It's just like, nah, let's go with all these. Toast-scented can... If you're smelling toast, you probably want to call a hospital. You might be having a stroke.
Toast-scented candle.
So, yeah. Alrighty. But, yeah, so... I'm not expecting to... Like, because Code's not going to be on for Baldur's Gate this Friday. And this Saturday, I might still be able to do a Final Fantasy thing. I'm not 100% certain how well it will play out. But yeah, like... This is like my last like week of holiday as well. So if there is an impromptu thing, like the impromptu can be done in like the afternoon or the morning for me, which I think would be better for some of the American peeps. But at the same time, like, I don't know, just this first week of the year, having shit break on me is just put me in a mood. It'll take, and I'm one of those, I'm just weird this way where it's like, I don't know how to, what's the word? I don't know how to process this, like, in a healthy manner that to get it done as quickly as I can. It's like, I can either do it properly, which is going to take time, or I do it quickly and it's just everything goes wrong. And I take more time than needed. If you and Code want to do some 14 stuff at any time, let me know. Yes, we'll let you know about that one. Ah, no, Furry Cure is not the bald again. But yeah, so yeah, that's me crying over, no monies, no GPU, no hope, and all that kind of silly nonsense. But we're gonna go on to a lighter tone with unnamed. How do you think I do? How do you think I do in the whatsamahoozies, in the War Thunder, in this session compared to when you first saw me? Cookie for Hawaiian pizza.
When you first started, it was sort of like you obviously had no idea what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's sort of like you're thinking more of like, okay, approach from this way. Like, that's just simple things, like going around the building instead of just going straight on. Not relying on your armor, because everyone who plays the tanks is like, whoa, I'm in a tank. Like, what are they gonna do to me? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because blah 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 blah. Because one of the, like, I'm okay with first-person shooters, but it's one of those things where where's my brain at? I know the point and shoot nonsense. Like, I kind of get that down pat. It's just every time I go into a different FPS, it's a different set of things to think about because of, like, projectile versus hit scan and the tactics when you're in Fortnite versus in Call of Duty. Like, and I know I'm not going to be like this great, good gamer kind of thing. Like, hence why Shipment and Shoot House are my two favorite maps in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I love shipment. My housemate hated shipment. They could not stay alive for long, and I was like, no, this is fun. It's like a very short time for it's just Goopy Goblin Brain. So
Yeah.
that's my thing. I like overwhelming power. As you can no doubt see with these beautiful muscles. Look at this.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. So yeah, let me give you another shout out. So if anyone who's only so then that way, if there's anyone who's only just got into the stream, I'm sorry. We're packing it up in the next 3 minutes or so. We're gonna go. I'm gonna be hopping offline shortly. I'm basically gonna be trying to get in contact with Gigabyte to organize my RMA and hope. I want to try and do this as quickly as possible. I want to try and get this week done of all my RMA shit of either, getting the thing back before the week is over or finding out I can't get it repaired or anything like that. So I want to figure that nonsense out because I can't do 3D shit on the 3060 Ti. I can't. The amount of shit in my Blender files are just not worth it. And yeah, all right. We're gonna need to raid someone, aren't we? Who are we gonna raid? Let's see, who's online? Do you know a lot of streamers on Twitch yet unnamed?
I don't really. It's because I'm so, I guess, reclusive. I'm very introverted, despite what anyone might think. So knowing anyone else is purely because you guys have all just said, "Hey, unnamed, you want to be friends?" And I'm like, "Yes, I would love friends."
Friend. Oh, friend. All right.
Please.
Let's have a look. So, God, so many people are doing Monster Hunter World. All right. I'm going to direct you to. Okay, we've not raided in. I don't think we've raided into them before, but we're gonna raid into an Australian fur artist. They've been on this for a long time. They're not yet partnered. They really should. Called Mikor Art. They do all these cool things, and they've most recently, you'll see it hopefully soon. They've done this feral emote where it's just these chibi characters with their fangs bared and such like that. So we're gonna go with that. And we're going to go with our classic Himbo raid message. So if you don't have the emotes, that's okay. Here's one without the emotes, because the gun emotes you need to be subscribed to in order to use them. If you don't, that's okay. You're welcome to use whatever else you want that you feel like is Himbo related. And otherwise, yeah, I think that's it from me. Unnamed, when might people see you streaming next in
the next week or so? I'm probably going to be going a little bit in and out of streams this week, so it's really going to be something probably for sure on Friday. I might do some gorilla streams during the week, but my next thing is going to be Friday, and I'm thinking of doing a VR chat. I like doing chill streams where it's do some breathing exercises, unwind from the whole week, that kind of stuff, de-stress.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. I hope the de-stressing stream goes well for you. For everyone else, God damn it, Furry Cure is making me bald every time. For everyone else, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to this morning's stream and sticking around till the afternoon. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all join in with the Himbo raid message as we go into Mikor Art in the next few seconds, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. What is she talking about? What's Mikor talking about?